All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Center to the Edge podcast. Blake here.
And Amanda.
Yes. And we have
a special person joining today's podcast.
Yes, we do.
Welcome to your first Radius podcast, Stephanie Narron.
Thank you.
You're going to hit your button?
Yeah, I know. I got to clap.
Yes.
Oh, clapping and music.
I know. It's impressive.
Yes.
I get both.
You get both. That's right. That's right.
So we're so excited. We've been in kind of our little series here of being able to talk a little bit with our Radius leadership team and hear your heart, hear a little bit about the backstory, about how you came to Radius. And Stephanie is also a member of our launch team, which means she was here in houses.
She was here before the church even started officially.
Yeah,
That's
BC,
awesome.
Before church.
BC, before church. Stephanie's been around since BC Radius.
Yes.
BC. And we are so glad. You know, this is the whole heart of this is just to get to know our leaders and feel comfortable to know their stories. And Steph has a great story. And so
as part of the launch team, Stephanie, take us through maybe part of that early.
The good parts. We blocked
so
out
much
the bad.
we could say.
So that early Radius stories, and then, you know, how you kind of found your role within Radius.
Well, was a part of it from even just kind of its inception. Was fortunate was on a trip with you guys as God had been working on your hearts during your sabbatical, and just hearing what your vision was for it and being so excited that you saw that being in St. Pete. Because honestly, I would have gone outside of Florida to go do that with you guys. So, but yeah, I was just so thrilled that it was going to be here in St. Pete. So yeah, was on board from the inception. And
I think that very night we typed in, we got our website.
We bought the domain.
Yes, Rad Church was bought first before anybody walked in a door.
Yep, that's right.
And I think we were in Virginia at the time, of all places.
Yes.
So yeah, it was. Just getting to be a part of that was amazing. And then, as far as just finding my role in it, I remember I've told this story a few times, but I remember sitting around with a few of us on the launch and writing our core values and our mission statement and all these things. And I was in a room filled with really excellent writers. And I was like, I have nothing to offer here. And just watching how God was able to show me what I did have to offer. Yeah, it might not be writing a mission statement or a core value, but just being able to help, whether it was with the finances, getting so many things in place for that. I've learned a ton. And, being a smiling face at the door, or hosting and greeting people. Those are I found my space. So
and I think that is funny. Like, you've done almost all the responsibilities at Radius, right? I've heard of High Five, everything. So it's really cool.
She's even subbed a few times in kids.
That's right.
Back in the early days.
It's been a while.
Yeah, back in the early days.
You're like, whatever it takes.
I will tell you, I remember that exact conversation, and I'm gonna say, I remember Stephanie was like, I've done banking.
We're like, finance team.
Treasurer.
Boom. Done.
Congratulations.
You're like, I can count money.
I've made lots of deposits in my day.
You're the expert.
10 years later.
I know. But then it went from, having worked in a bank versus being a treasurer, two very different things, but just learning how to, when we were like setting up the accounts and having to open up a business account and, learning how to get tax exemption and just so many things that I've gained so much knowledge through all of it. So it's been amazing.
It has been awesome.
Maybe kicking and dragging your feet, but
sometimes.
You're like, I just said I could make deposits. I don't know if I said I was all for this.
You're like, I thought I'd be counting a lot more money than I'm counting.
Maybe my expectations were a little, they might have been unmet there, but no, but it's been amazing. So, and it has taught me so much, not only about the practical day in, day out of, paying bills and keeping a business account going, but just building my faith and watching God provide in moments where it just didn't seem possible. So that's been huge for me.
And I tell you, that's one thing I have loved why I just know that it's a perfect fit because I've seen your faith. You've given encouragement to me and Amanda at points like, hey, God's got this. And we're like, I know God's got it, but just seeing you bring such a faith element to the finances, which I think is important in a church in general.
Right.
And I think what you bring is such that strong faith piece of, we've had some tight moments and tight weeks, and I've never seen you go, it's over. We're in trouble. You're like, all right, but I really appreciate that. We really appreciate that piece that you bring to that. I think it's so important.
And, we talk a lot. If you haven't been around Radius that long, you might know this, but we say this a lot. We try to make this very transparent that Blake and I do not know who gives or what they give, and we try to stay out of that. Now, every once in a while, we'll have somebody come up and tell us or hand us the thing.
Or it's a special
they're
like,
offering. But for the most part, we
Yeah.
stay way, way far away from that. And that's what I have loved most with Stephanie is how she's handled that with grace and aplomb, but also you've gotten to see the miracles.
Yes.
And I know you've talked about this around the table before, but just share a little bit about that side. I know you've seen the miracles of when we needed it, but you've even talked about seeing blessings in other people's lives.
Yeah. So definitely unexpected miracle, a large offering that just shows up that we're not expecting. Those are fun. I love those. But no, also being able to, just because I guess I do have that unique position of I do know what people are giving, not that I'm sharing it or anything like that, but
you're the only one. Really.
Right. So I kind of get this, front row seat to them, and I've seen multiple people, some families where just consistently being, generous, whatever that means. I mean, that can be all different amounts depending for everyone, but just then watching them experiencing blessings in their lives, in their businesses. And I kind of get just to smile. Like I kind of know, not that
You're
I'm ever going to
silent observer,
Yes,
really, of God's faithfulness.
Yeah. And just watching how he blesses them. And then, typically in turn, their generosity increases. And it's a really unique,
what a
experience.
special place.
Yeah. And that's cool. What helps me, I think, keep, have that faith and let it continue to grow because I'm watching it not only in my life or Radius, but I get to see it happening in other people's lives too.
That's cool.
And I think, Stephanie often does hosting around here, which is kind of that first front experience on stage of telling us, where the restrooms are and welcoming our new friends and making sure everybody feels at home, which you do so great in your whole life. But on stage, you get to do that. But I think about, even as you were talking, Stephanie, when you say generosity generates goodness, that has to mean something even different for you and what you've witnessed than anybody else who says that.
Yeah, it's very true.
Even in the lives of the families who are giving, there's a goodness that you're seeing.
Absolutely.
That's really cool.
Absolutely.
Well, coming up in a couple of weeks, we're going to be celebrating 10 years, which is crazy.
It's so crazy.
And if we had to count down who was the third member of Radius after me and Amanda, it was you.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
I know.
You might get some kind of award for being here the longest. It's exciting.
Here's your reward.
Yes.
You're going to keep doing finance for the next 10 years.
Yes, exactly.
Congratulations, Stephanie.
You're hosting again, by the way.
Hosting. One last question I have is thinking about that 10 years in just seeing God move and just being a part of this movement for 10 years. When you think about that 10-year Radius, what do you think of? I know that's a big question.
I know.
Narrow that down.
Well, it's been incredible to watch just how we've grown as a church family, and back in days of setting up and tearing down, and when I think back on that, we haven't had to do that for a while, which is really nice. But when I think back to just how much people gave, how much time and effort people gave in that space, and people giving time and effort in different ways now too, but just to really see us come so far. And then I think one of my favorite things, and what I always end up getting emotional about, is just when I see people who maybe have been hurt by church as a whole, or are nervous to come back, and coming into Radius and having an incredible experience or an authentic experience. And that's probably my favorite thing. And now just getting to, and they get plugged in, they become a part of Radius, and you can't imagine Radius without them. Or, you know,
so good.
I don't know if that answered your
No,
question,
that was,
but those
that
are
was
some
great.
of my favorite things to watch, is just how God is working in all these people. And sometimes that starts with them just helping serve in some way, in some capacity. So
I love that you talk about the chair setup, because what we're going to do on birthday Sunday is we're going to have a list of things that over the years, and I'm thinking about trying to reach out the chauffeur and say, can we borrow one of your chairs and set the chair up in the lobby? This was a lot of our time right here, this chair.
It's so
moving
true.
it in place, right?
Yeah.
Setting up a stage, tearing down. We had 2 trailers that we loaded up each and every week.
And we would come into that shuffleboard club specifically, more than the Sunshine Center, and never know what
we were walking into.
Right.
I mean, the floor was torn up one day.
Ceiling was gone one time.
Yeah, there were sometimes people had left bodily functions around. We've had ambulances that were there before we got there.
Yep.
I mean, it was an adventure every week.
Wild West of radio.
Yeah. But there's so much that comes with that, you know, like just feeling like you've really been a part of something that's grown from those spaces to, you know, having our building here. And so there's just a lot of, I guess, pride that comes along with it. Like I was a part of that.
Yeah.
Back in the day, or whatever, you know, back in my day, however you want to.
And we all used to sweat. We all had a big, you know, it was always a good workout.
Yeah. Well, Stephanie, honestly, on behalf of Radius, and we don't say this enough to you, but on behalf of Radius, we want to say thank you. I think she did this as a volunteer for, 3 years before ever receiving any compensation, and it's still not what it needs to be.
Yeah.
But I want you to know that Radius thanks you. Thanks you for being a part of Launch Team, but doing finance, sure, but being faithful and having faith and leading us in faith.
We're very grateful.
And so we appreciate that. Yes. And we just want to say happy birthday, Radius to Stephanie.
Yes. And can you do a welcome on birthday Sunday?
I figured I will be here.
Good. I know, that'd be nice.
It'd be interesting.
Yes. Well, it's been another great episode. Get to hang out with Stephanie. It was great. Learn about it.
It's time to dance, Blake. We got the music. Go.
What's my dance? I forget it. I don't remember.
Running.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.